It is mailbag time here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. You may be wondering, how do I get involved in these mailbag shows? Well, we do them each and every week during our live shows here on the channel, which occur on Wednesdays. And if you use the hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat, you can get on the mailbag show. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Never miss a moment. You'll be glad you did. And let's go ahead and get started with our mailbag questions. From the one and only Mark Sanchez, the GOAT himself, checking in, asking about Wayne the Great, the running back from the University of Wisconsin. From the University of Washington, rather. See, the UW, there's two UWs. Let's tell you about Wayne here. His numbers last season had 140 carries, 887 yards, 11 touchdowns, and averaged 6.3 yards per carry. Size-wise, at 5'11", 206, I mean, this guy is what you're looking for in that number 2 or number 3 running back potentially. We know this Seahawks team needs to add another running back to complement Kenneth Walker. That Kenneth Walker's your guy. You should draft a running back, but it's not a high priority. It's not something that you probably should even take care of day 1 or day 2. But day 3, I'm open to it. I don't know where Wayne's going to go necessarily, but certainly he could be a good fit for the Seahawks to be that number 2 back potentially. Another one from Mark. Mark wants to know, smoke, barbecue, or pizza with wings for the Super Bowl. So, no free ads, but last year for Super Bowl Sunday, I went with Panda Express. And Panda was a very good Super Bowl Sunday party menu item. I could not go wrong with Panda Express. Panda Express has never let me down in my life. With that said, barbecue or pizza with wings, as somebody that spent a great number of years in the Kansas City area and now lives in Dallas, the answer is barbecue. I love barbecue. I think I could eat barbecue every day of the week. Producer Roley doesn't know what good barbecue is yet, but we will teach him. We'll make sure he knows what good barbecue is. I mean, here's the deal, Mark and the others out there. I mean, get you some barbecue to enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. Have your friends over. Have a couple cold beers on hand ready to go. And get on with your bad self and enjoy the Super Bowl. Got to have some barbecue. Pizza, you can have any day of the week. Barbecue, it just hits different. MJ Seahawks says, thank you, Tyler, for all your content. Who is your guy on day 2 for nose tackle or defensive line? Well, MJ Seahawk, thank you for the question as far as that goes. And we always love bringing you guys Seahawks content each and every day here on the channel. MJ Hawk, it is my pleasure to be able to bring you what we do each and every day here on the channel and our entire staff. It's awesome what we do. The guys behind the scenes make it all happen. As far as the answer goes for looking at day 2, guys, I think what's interesting is for Seattle, you're in a position where you might hope for a guy to slip and take advantage of your 2 picks that you have in the second round, and maybe you trade up. I know we've talked about like Brian Breesy, for example, from Clemson, who's expected to be a first-round pick, but there's some mocks out there that have him going at 30 or 31. Well, if he's still around and still available there at the beginning of the first round, that's a guy potentially I could package my 2 second-round picks and move up for to make sure I get. To me, that's an idea potentially. I'm looking at guys that are first-round grades but could still be around for those 2 picks as far as I'm concerned. But it's a good question. We'll just see who's ultimately available for those guys there. Adam says, the Niners have had a few good QBs and needed all of them this year. Should the Seahawks bring in another QB even if they re-sign Geno? It's a very interesting idea, Adam, and you're absolutely right about that. You look at what the Niners went through to get to the NFC Championship game, and it may have been a whole different game I'm not saying they would have beat the Eagles, but they at least would have had a fighting chance had Brock Purdy played in that entire game. Okay? And you look at that team. Trey Lance goes down, and Jimmy Garoppolo goes down. Brock Purdy goes down in the NFC Championship game. Josh Johnson was not worth anything. I don't know why he's in the National Football League. With that said, the Niners needed every one of those quarterbacks, and you can't have too many good quarterbacks. So I would say, yes, you should draft a quarterback or bring in a veteran, whatever it may be, besides just Geno Smith. And I'm not saying it has to be even a first-round quarterback, but somewhere down the line, somewhere maybe even day 3 or late in day 3, you should find a quarterback. Think about the New England Patriots. And I know that producer Roley is going to like me bringing this up. What has Bill Belichick done so well over the years? One of the many things Belichick's done well is you could point to that even when Tom Brady was in his prime, they were still drafting quarterbacks and they were getting stuff out of them. I mean, Matt Castle is out of the league, and the Chiefs gave up the farm to get Matt Castle. I mean, think about some of the other guys that they've been through over the years. To me, you can't have enough good quarterbacks. So, yeah, I would be very interested to draft a quarterback in addition to re-signing Geno. What do you think? Add another QB along with Geno Smith this offseason. It's not as crazy as you may think. Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Let me know in the comment section. You want to add another QB along with Geno in the offseason? Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Robbie Red writes, thoughts on the Sean Payton trade of Denver? Well, that's a very interesting situation. Old friend, Russell Wilson, of course, there in Denver. And you guys may not know this, but I spent some time talking about the NFL as a whole on our main Chat Sports channel on NFL Daily. And when we were talking about the Broncos coaching search and everything that was going on there, the thing I looked at was, I think Russell Wilson is cooked personally, but if there's one guy that could potentially salvage or save Russ's career, that guy is Sean Payton. And Sean Payton, I think, he's going to be a Hall of Fame coach. He's a very good coach in this league. But with that said, they did give up a lot for him. Think about it this way. If you're placing a bet, and the Broncos this past year, they just lost a lot in their bet in that Russell Wilson trade. Now what they've done is they're doubling down their bet in the Russell Wilson trade, and they're going all in even further. This could fail miserably. This could go well, but they're hedging their bets here. They're going all in this case. So it's a good hire, but it's a ballsy move. We'll put it that way as far as what Denver's doing to get Russell Wilson that help there. Today's episode of Seahawks Today is sponsored by Fume. We all have bad habits, and we certainly know how hard they can be to kick those bad habits. Our sponsor, Fume, is on a mission to accelerate humanity's breakup from the bad habits that consume far too many of us. Fume is a natural diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habit for a positive one. I didn't expect much out of Fume when I got it, but the minty sensation is really powerful and really hits the back of the throat. The Journey Pack comes with 3 unique flavors for you to enjoy: maple pepper, crisp mint, and white cranberry. Fume is not a vape. It's a non-electronic device designed to transform your negative habits. The easiest way to stop a bad habit is to switch to a positive one, and Fume is designed perfectly to do just that. Head to tryfume.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS to save an additional 10% off of your order today. The 3 unique flavors, I've tried a couple of them. I got to tell you, this thing is pretty good. So go ahead and get yours now. Tell them we sent you, and you'll be glad you did. Back to the mailbag we go. Beast Mode 42701 writes, Myles or Tyree? What he's referring to is Myles Murphy out of Clemson, or Tyree Wilson of Texas Tech. And this seems to be, if the draft goes chalk and the Seahawks stay at 5, this is probably the decision they have to make. I like Myles Murphy better than I do Tyree Wilson. I'm not saying there's a wrong answer here either. That's just my personal preference. I think if you go with one of those two, then you're fine. You're feeling pretty good about where you stacked up. I don't think there is a wrong answer definitively one way or the other. But personally, I like Myles Murphy a little bit more than I do Tyree Wilson, but they're both going to be potential to be really good football players in the league. JVB writes, if the Seahawks still had the 5th pick in the draft and C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young were already picked and you can only pick Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, who would you pick? Neither. My answer would be hell no. I don't want either one of those guys. Anthony Richardson's not a very accurate passer. Less than 53% completion percentage? That's not an NFL quarterback. No thanks. And I know Nicholas Newton's been on my ass asking me, why don't you like Anthony Richardson? Have you looked at his completion percentage? That's why. Will Levis, underperformed. He did not live up to expectations this year at the University of Kentucky. And to me, I think there is work to be done when it comes to Will Levis. There's potential there, but he's very raw. So if that's the hand you're dealing me, no thanks. If Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud are there, now we're talking. That could potentially work. But Levis or Richardson, no thanks. Temperer writes, any chance the Seahawks bring back Rashaad Penny? Slim chance. There is a chance. So you're saying there's a chance? Yes, slim, but unlikely. I think that Rashaad Penny, the Seahawks, gave him kind of the last-minute chance last year to prove himself. And although he was good before he got hurt, I don't think the Seahawks want to get bitten by that bullet again and be hurt by a Rashaad Penny injury as far as that goes. So, Rashaad, no one questions his talent. We all know he's good, but the guy can't seem to stay healthy. So that's the issue when it comes to Rashaad Penny there. So slim chance, it'd have to be a cheap contract, but I don't think it's happening more than likely. Should Seattle re-sign Rashaad Penny? Is that something they should do? If you think they should, type S for sign. If you don't think they should, type P for pass. Let me know in the comments section. Should Seattle re-sign Rashaad Penny or not? S for sign, P for pass. Good time for a few more questions here. Let's go to Kevin now, who writes, what's a wide receiver you would like to see Seattle draft? So the 5 pick is more than likely going to be a defensive player. If Seattle stays at 5, potentially could trade down to 7 or 8 or 9, somewhere around that range. But I think Seattle's going to stay in the top 10 and probably go with a defensive lineman or an edge rusher. But that 2nd pick at 20, if there's a situation where we look at this Seahawks team and whether it's Keontae Johnson, or whether it's, Jordan Addison, whether, it's JSN, one of these guys there, one of these top receivers that are still around for the Seahawks when they pick at 20, then you have my interest. I'm not interested in a top 5 pick of using a wide receiver there. But at 20, if one of those top 3 guys are around, we can potentially talk about that. Josie writes, should we sign free agent Daron Payne? We talked about Daron Payne a lot here the last couple of weeks. He's not going to be cheap. I think the talent speaks for itself, and he's just now entering his prime. It'd be great to have him there when it comes to that talent level. All of that sounds good. But you might be in a situation where you're having to choose him or Geno Smith. I'm taking Geno personally if it comes down to making that choice. So there's going to be a lot of teams interested in Daron Payne. I'd like him, but I just don't know if the numbers add up to bring Payne in as far as that goes. Matthew wants to know, what are the best college football quarterbacks that could be drafted next year? Next year as in 2024. Rolly's going to like me mention this. Drake May is going to be right up there. I think he and Caleb Williams are 1A, 1B. I like Caleb Williams a little bit better, but That's why we play the games. Caleb Williams won the Heisman Trophy. But there could be a situation this year where if Drake May clearly outplays Caleb Williams, he could jump Caleb Williams and he could be the first quarterback taken. I think it's between those two. Then there's like a big opening, right? That's when things get very interesting. And the next guy I point to is Quinn Ewers at Texas. I know Quinn looked very raw, and there were times that he did not look great. I understand all that. But the size, the athleticism, everything's there for Quinn Ewers. If he can put it all together this upcoming year, and he's got Arch Manning on his neck trying to take that job, and he knows that Texas fans want Arch Manning, I think you could realistically see a situation where Williams and May go 1-2, whatever order you're feeling, depending on quarterback, depending on the team. And then that third quarterback could be Quinn Ewers, depending on how this year goes. Those are the three guys I'm watching for as far as that's concerned. I know some people are going to tell you Spencer Rattler. I think Rattler's a fraud personally. But those are the three guys I'm watching for. Before we go, name a player the Seahawks should add in free agency. Who comes to mind? Who's somebody the Seahawks should consider this offseason? Let us know in the comment section below, and we will see you next time here on Seahawks Today.